assessment and for VAT purposes, specifically for MTD for VAT at the most. This morning I'm going to go through a brief presentation regarding making tax digital for VAT. If anybody has any questions as we go, please feel free to write the message in the box below. If I can, I will answer as we go. If not, I will answer towards the end of the presentation for any questions. Okay. So without further ado. Okay, so the overview of today's webinar is we're going to look at the facts. What do I need to do, i.e. what do you need to do as accountants and professional advisors, MTD compatible software, and finally just a brief overview of our products. The main focus is the facts and what you need to do regarding MTD. So, as most people will be aware, MTD comes into effect from the 1st of April 2019. It's mandatory for all VAT registered businesses with a turnover of £85,000. Okay. However, there is a 6-month deferral for approximately 40,000 businesses. And these businesses would fit into the following. They will be trusts, not-for-profit organisations that are not companies, VAT divisions, VAT groups, public sector entities, local authorities, traders based overseas, those that are required to make payments on account, and those on the annual accounting scheme. So it's quite a small list, but I'd say about 40,000 businesses have got a 6-month deferral. Then the Chancellor announced last week in the spring statement that from the 1st of April 2020, MTD will be mandatory for all new VAT registered businesses. So for MTD, as the name suggests, all records must be maintained digitally. However, digital does not mean keeping scanned copies of invoices or receipts. Okay, so you and your clients can still keep the paper copies of the receipts. Importantly, there are no changes to the calculations, and there are no changes to the filing and payment deadlines. In terms of what is digital, you can use sheets, MTD enabled software or legacy software. You can also use more than one piece of software, but there must be digital links between the pieces. So for example, your clients could use a legacy piece of bookkeeping software, export the calculation to yourselves, where you may want to do some work on VAT apportionment, etc. That should all be done in a spreadsheet, emailed back to the client, who could then import those changes directly into their software for submission to HMRC. There is going to be an initial 12-month soft landing. So what that means is, whilst the digital links are being built, maintained, etc., you can indeed type and complete the boxes manually within the software if you need to before submission to HMRC. Okay. In addition to that, HMRC will be very, very unlikely to issue any penalties, etc., for non-compliance, as long as you can show that there's been efforts been made on there. Okay. In addition to that, there are going to be a small number of businesses that are exempt from VAT, exempt from MTD for VAT, but it is really going to be small. So, for example, if it's not practical for the business to use digital tools because of age, disability, remoteness of location, if the business is subject to an insolvency procedure, and if it's run entirely by practicing members of religious society whose beliefs are incompatible with using electronic communications. To be exempt, you do have to actually apply to HMRC, and there is a specialist department that deals with that in Glasgow. Okay. So what must your business keep digitally? Basic information, not different to what you're retaining now, whether you do it manually, spreadsheet, etc. So you need to retain the business name, the address, VAT number and scheme used. Most importantly, the transaction date and values, being net VAT and gross, the VAT rates charged, and also a VAT detailed report. So that should HMRC have an inquiry, then you can produce details of the transactions used to complete the calculation. Okay, in terms of when MTD for VAT starts, as I say, it just starts on the 1st of April, okay, but that's for businesses with a VAT period starting after the 1st of April. So it's the first VAT period that commences after the 1st of April. So as you can see from the spreadsheet, the initial group of people are going to be for VAT period ends 30th of June, so they need to keep digital records from the 1st of April, and their first submission will be the 7th of August 2019. That's the deadline. Moving all the way through to the 1st of May and 1st of June. So the last tranche of clients that will be entering into MTD will be those with a VAT period ended 31st of August 2019. They will actually need to be compelled to complete digital record keeping until the 1st of June 2019. So there is a slight assistance there with migrating users onto your clients onto the system. Just a couple more facts that we picked up last week. We have HMRC. So there are currently 1.2 million VAT registered businesses subject to MTD for VAT, but as of the 6th of March this year, only 35,000 had registered on the new MTD platform. So there's still a massive number of people out there to complete that registration process. And as I say, there is still time to register because there is a staged introduction depending on the VAT periods required to file. So from a practical point of view, what do you need to do to help with your clients? Okay, so the first thing is you need an agent services account. The clients need to register, and then you need to decide on your software choices. So what is the agent services account? Well, the agent services account is a new account specifically for MTD journey. It does not replace your existing agent access, so you'll have two accounts with HMRC. But in order to register for your new agent services account, you'll need to know your current agent details, user ID and password, your firm UTR, your postcode of where the UTR is, and details of your money laundering supervising body. Okay, and I put a couple of links there. I'm going to go on the system so you can see HMRC videos on how to create those agent services accounts. They're actually quite neat and tidy, so they're worth a watch if you've not already done so. Okay, once you've created your agent services account, you then need to link your existing clients to the new agent services account. So that's a case of logging in. Once you've logged into the system, there's a link that says link your current self-assessment and VAT clients to this account. Click the link. HMRC will ask you to re-enter your gateway and ID password of your current gateway ID, not your new agent services account. That will then force the link between the existing account and the new account, and then your existing client should then be linked to your new agent services account. It's a bit cumbersome, the migrating from a legacy system to a new system, so there's going to be a period of overlap. Okay, so once you've got your new clients into the agent services account, okay, what you then need to do is ask them to authorize you to file and manage their VAT affairs on your behalf. Okay, and in order to do that, you need to enter two pieces of information regarding your client, and that will be their VAT registration number and their date of VAT registration. Once you've entered that information, you'll be given a unique link. That link must be emailed to your client. The client will then click that link. That link would force them to log in to their gateway account and confirm their agreement to act on their behalf with regards to their VAT matters. It's important to note this link will only last for 14 days. So if the client doesn't link within 14 days, you'll have to go through this process again. Once you've linked or requested a link to your client, the client has still got some work to do because the client has themselves to register for the new MTD for VAT system. So in order for them to do that, they will need their VAT number, their date of registration, and the address of the principal place of business. So from experience, where the business has been registered for VAT for a number of years, this is something that the client doesn't necessarily know or is aware of, so you may need your assistance with that information. In addition to the basic information, they will also need the details of dates of birth or national insurance if they're a sole trader, or if they're a limited company, company registration or corporation tax reference number. So the important thing is to ensure that the client's got the information to hand that they need when registering. So I'm going to show you what I've put some screenshots together of the registration process for the client, because this is something you could perhaps share with them if needs be. Okay, so once they're registering, it's very straightforward and this shouldn't take too long. Registering for more than one business, no. Okay, they choose their trading status. They then currently have to agree that all to receive emails instead of letters. Okay. Now I do believe HMRC are changing this in the coming weeks, so the client can choose to still receive paper correspondence if they wish, but at the moment they can only agree to receive emails. So I'll put their email address in there. Again, HMRC wants to verify, so they will send them an email with a link that the client has to click on to verify their email address. Okay, once that's been completed, they can continue through the registration process. And once all the information has been entered, you get confirmation on screen that the account has been created. Another important fact is because it's a migration process from the existing HMRC systems to the new MTD systems, that process can take 72 hours. So they need to complete this registration process in advance of submitting their first MTD for that return. Otherwise, the return won't file. And they may well be in limbo between the old account being closed and the new account being opened. Okay, but again, I've put a link in there to HMRC YouTube video that you may want to share with your clients that goes through that process for them. So, MTD compatible software. Okay, so in order to comply with the HMRC requirements, the software must, as we've talked about, keep digital records, save the data digitally, but not the invoices or receipts, it's just the data, calculate the VAT return from those digital records, and submit the VAT return direct to the new MTD for VAT systems. Okay. It must also be capable of receiving information digitally from HMRC. And when we say receive information, HMRC send three key pieces of information at the moment. That is the VAT periods that require filing, which they refer to as obligations. And so that's the VAT periods. Details of any VAT payments made and details of any VAT payments due. But this is information from the MTD system only. Okay. So within the next 12 to 15 months, you'll have a picture of the client's obligations, the returns that have been submitted, dates submitted, and the liabilities and payments. And that information comes from HMRC. You can still use Excel or other spreadsheets for digital record keeping. That doesn't change. Okay, the spreadsheet must produce a VAT calculation from the core entries is produce a 9-box calculation of VAT 100. Okay, and then to comply, it must then be able to file the VAT calculation directly to HMRC using an API or using some compatible bridging software. Okay. And bridging software is a piece of software that you can send your VAT 100 calculation to that then communicates directly to HMRC without the need to subscribe to a bookkeeping software. What you will find is, I'm sure many of you that use the mainstream products, Sage, QuickBooks Zero, etc., they will all be MTD for VAT compatible within their existing format, so there shouldn't be any changes to yourself or your clients in respect of that. It's where your clients are using legacy software, so they may have an old version of Sage that they do not wish to upgrade, or old versions of QuickBooks, etc. They'll never be MTD compatible, so it's at those points you need to be thinking about, do they upgrade to more recent, newer products, or do you use bridging software to file to HMRC? So as I mentioned, you can also use Excel for adjustments. So as I say, you're going to work out partial exemption calculations, but the key to that is you must be able to transfer the information back to the bookkeeping software digitally, or use bridging software to submit to HMRC. So if you are making partial adjustment changes, etc., it's the decision, can I export the data to the bookkeeping software, or do I need to take bridging software to submit to HMRC? Okay. So what is bridging software? I've briefly alluded to it, but again, it must be capable and able to receive digital information from Excel or other software that calculates VAT reports. It must submit the VAT report to the new HMRC MTD system. Like bookkeeping software, it must be able to receive information from HMRC MTD systems. And it must be able to receive VAT reports from multiple sources, so e.g. Excel, legacy bookkeeping software, etc. So you've got a single point. If you've got clients on a different product, different spreadsheets, etc., you've got one product, one place you can pull all that information together and manage the submission process to HMRC. There is a HMRC MTD software directory. That's recently been updated in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So there are something in the region of 230, 240 pieces of software that comply with MTD for VAT. You've got filters on there so you can choose it's suitable for businesses or agents, and some basic features on there as well. So it gives you some choice. Okay. So that's really is a very brief overview of MTD for VAT. A lot of information in there. A lot of that. The information is going to be emailed. The video is going to be emailed out to you at the end of the presentation, so you've got a full copy of this. Attached to that, Sharon will also include my contact details. So if anybody's got any specific questions or any clarification that needs, please feel free to contact me on that. Okay. As I said, I'd very briefly show you our software options. So our first one is our bridging software. Okay. It's very simple dashboard showing you the VAT returns due and VAT returns submitted, apologies. And also, as it's a paid for product, it shows you your licensing situation just in a single dashboard there. Your VAT list or your client list, this is taken from our test software. So you can see we've got three users in there. Very basic information on there. Okay. Adding a new user is very straightforward. Adding a new business, all we're needing is a business name, owner name and VAT number, and then default to MTD. Once you default to that, you're then going through the process of authorizing software to communicate on your behalf. So this will put in your scenario, you put your agent credentials in here, and this would allow you to connect and communicate VAT returns for your clients where they've authorized you. And it's a very simple process on there. And as you can see, it's basically granting access to view and change VAT information. Once that process has been done, we then, as all does software, communicates with the HMRC systems to pull down the obligations. And you can see for this test client, there are two periods, one ending 30th of June 2017 and one ending 31st of March 2017. And you can see the two statuses, fulfilled and open. Fulfilled being it's been filed, and open being it needs filing. Okay. And below, should there be any liabilities, then liabilities would appear in the section below. Okay. The way our bridging software works, it works by reading either an Excel version of the SA100 or a PDF version of the SA100. So that would be from any piece of software. So assuming the calculation is being run within the software, within the Excel spreadsheet, and that can be printed and saved to a PDF or as a spreadsheet. in the following formats. I think this one's taken from Sage 50. Once that's dragged into the software and browsed into software, it reads through the characters and pre-populates the boxes 1 to 9, and that completes the digital journey. So there's no changes can be made to those figures once they're in the system. One of the reasons HMRC proposed about MTD for VAT is that a lot of miscalculations of VAT are down to the typing errors of typing from the calculation into the current HMRC system, hence the digital journey. And once you're happy with the figures, you've got a submit button, and then it literally is submit, and you'll get a success message on there. If there were any errors, then the errors will be returned by HMRC and will display those for you. And there you are, we've gone through there, and you can see that was submitted on the 11th of February. The test data was put through. Again, we'll show any liabilities and payments from our C system. One other feature that we have is that you can invite your staff or your client to also view the MTD software as well. So therefore, the client can view the details and approve them for you to submit to HMRC. Simple process on that. Okay. We also have a second product, which is MTD compatible bookkeeping software. Okay, very similar to the likes of Xero and Cashflow, etc. And it's basically recording of income expenses, detailing the VAT elements, etc. on there. Okay. This does allow you to interact with your clients as well, so you can see the client's data in real time, similar to the other products. It's got a basic accounting reports in there for the businesses and yourselves to run, as you can see, and also debtors books, etc., and supplier invoices, customer invoices, etc. All the features you would expect, and it also is MTD compatible as well. And if you look at the next screen, you can see this is a more complete data. You can see the submissions that have gone through in terms of the VAT obligations. So in this particular example, there's 3. 2 have been submitted and 1 is due, and the liabilities and payments have been required and made by the user. Okay. And then finally, very quickly, you can see the VAT submission, and then everything's there for you to see as an accountant. Okay. As I say, very quick, very brief overview of MTD for VAT. I know it's on a important topic at the moment. If anybody's got any questions and they want to share those, that would be fine. If not, as I say, that information, my contact details are going to be shared after the event, so please feel free to contact me. Can't change it. think they're different. It's no different, no.
You what? Well, explain. Um, it's not that neat.